In this short video, we're looking at dividing with decimal answers. And in this particular video, we're looking at dividing by a single digit number. But first, we will look at a couple of questions that would lead to that particular calculation. Okay. Ali has earned £92.25 this week. She has worked 9 hours. What is her rate of pay? And Samir ran 92.25 kilometres yesterday, and he ran for a total of 9 hours. What was his average speed? Both of those would generate a calculation of 92.25 divided by 9. That could also be expressed as 92.25, how many 9s go into that? Or how many 9s go into 92.25? We all say things quite differently in our head. Okay, so let's move on and do that calculation. So we have 92.25 divided by 9, and as we're dividing by 9, the first step that I would complete would be to list my times table for 9 on one side of my piece of paper. So for example, 9, 18, 27, and so on. Okay. Now, it may be that you know that off the top of your head. It might be that you have a pattern for working it out. Or you might find that you actually need to do some sums as you go along, like 27 plus 9 is 36, plus 9 is 45, and work your way down that way, give you 54. Finger sums and toes are definitely allowed. I'll continue that in my head. So it goes 63, 72, 81, and 90. Okay, now you may have noticed we've got to the bottom. 10 times 9 is 90. And that's quite an easy one for us to work out in our head. Now, if I'd got down to 92 or I'd put 88, then there's a good chance I've made a mistake when I'm working out my times tables. And at this point is a good time for you to go back and correct that before you actually do the division. Okay, so we have our times table in place. And now we need to set up our actual division using the bus shelter method that you would have used at school. It's really important that you get the right number into your bus stop. Okay, so we've got 92.25. That's the number at the front of the sum that actually goes inside the box. So it's the front of the division, this one here, that goes inside the bus stop. So let's give myself plenty of working space there. And as we're dividing by 9, the 9 goes on the outside. So we're saying how many 9s go into 92.25? So the 9 goes on the outside. Now, don't forget, you see there's a decimal point there on the 92.25. That decimal point also needs to sit directly above the bus stop so that we make sure we get that in the right place at the end when we look at the answer. Okay. Now, in the first instance, we're going to see how many 9s go into this first digit here. Now, I've been quite kind to you here. We've given ourselves a nice number to work with. 9s go into 9 once. That's fine. Now we've got to look at the next digit. 9s go into 2. So how many 9s go into 2? It's not how many 2s go into 9. It's actually 2 divided by 9, and that doesn't give a whole number answer. So actually 2 divided by 9 is nothing, because we can't get a whole number answer out of it. So we haven't shared that 2, and it's really important we carry that 2 forwards onto the next digit. Okay, if you went shopping and you hadn't spent all your money in the shop, you wouldn't leave that behind. So if you're sharing out a number and you haven't shared it all out, take what's left with you. Okay, so now what we're going to have a look at is we're going to see how many 9s go into that 22 over here. And that's where the times table list that we've created already starts to come into play. 22 sits here between the 18 and the 27. Let's just write that in. Okay. And at a glance above that line, we can see we've got 1 lot of 9, 2 lots of 9. So we can say that we've got 2 9s in 22. So let's write that. 2 times 9 is in fact 18 though. But if we look at the highlighted yellow area, we were sharing out 22, which means we haven't shared it all out. We've actually got a remainder of 4. And that remainder 4 sits next to the next digit under the bus shelter. Okay. So now let's have a look at the next number we're going to work with. We're now looking at how many 9s go into 45. There's a pale highlighter there, but hopefully that stands out for you. Now 45 does happen to be in the times table, look. Okay, so we want to see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots of 9 gives an answer of 45. Because 5 9s are actually 45, we don't have any remainders, so we have completed the question. So the answer to 92.25 divided by 9 is 10.25. So let's have a look at how we would use that information to answer the questions that we had on the first page. Now, in the first instance, Ali has earned £92.25 this week, and she worked 9 hours. What's her rate of pay? Well, that means her rate of pay was £10.25. Okay. The next question was, Samir ran 92.25 kilometres yesterday, and he ran for a total of 9 hours. What was his average speed? His average speed would be 10.25 kilometres per hour. Feel free to replay that video at any stage. Have a look at how it's been set up. Take a bit of time to prepare your times table on the side, because that takes some of the thinking out of it for you, and gradually work your way through the division process. There is a follow-up video which divides by a double-digit number. So if you feel confident with this skill, then you can go on to look at the next video.